Good afternoon to everyone. Those who have participated in this meeting, because link it has already been given to you, so you should the number of participants should be more. And now in this session we are going to get a lot of information from one of our dynamic young resource person, Mr. Tapan Burman. He is going to share his knowledge with us. The topic is 21st century skills. But before going to welcome Mr. Tapan Burman, I would like to tell you some things that in the middle, if you don't, escape, clear no, that you should not escape from the meeting. You should at least listen, continue. You should continue this program. And at the end, when the attendance link will be given to you, you must fill it up. And the first thing is, in the middle, if you fail to attend, once again, you may click the attendance link and you may join once again. So now let me welcome our resource persons today, Mr. Tapan Burman. Please welcome, sir.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Datta sir, for inviting me and giving me opportunity. And thank you, principal sir and school management who has given me that opportunity to share my views regarding 21st century skills. And thank you, our technical teams who has organized such a nice atmosphere so that we can continue or we can share our views with all of you. And thank you every single participant who has joined here and giving their valuable time to listen. Okay, so let's start today's topic. And I have chosen as my topic, or I want to share my views regarding 21st century, as we are all living here together. So actually what happened some 25 years earlier or 30 years earlier, even if we go back some centuries ago, so at that time it was totally different atmosphere. But now the atmosphere or the situation, if you see the whole world, the world is changing rapidly. Even we can just we can think a different way overnight. What we are just thinking now, so we can think tomorrow in different way, because it is rapidly that our thoughts are changing rapidly with the technology. So if we go some 25 years or 50 years earlier or back, then we can see, so our life was very lengthy. It was like it would take a lot time to send any message or to share our views with anyone, even just right now. So as we are on webinar, and I'm sharing my views with you all about 21st century, just being in a room and you are all in your rooms, so I can convey my information, my views with anyone being anywhere. So that way, earlier, suppose like who are born in 1950s, like that time. So they are not capable of learning all of these. So they are not familiar with that technology, and they cannot just learn everything. So in total, so if you go back uh, 25 years back, so at that time life was different, now the life is different. So what are the skills? So we need to know that to survive in that situation, in that 24th situation. So that is the our burning topic or mood topic. So what are the skills we need to continue to go on with that situations? So if we talk about uh, about about the person who has to be in the center of the 24th century, obviously it is an individual who is at the core. If we make any individual a nice person, a well-skilled persons, then that person can make another person nice, well, and that way we can spread that skills to the other. So even so, if we see in today's world, it is not possible for a person or a segment of persons or only a few people cannot learn or cannot run the whole world. If we want to achieve a lot of things regarding everything, so we have discovered a lot regarding so minute to minute organism to vast animals, although we are lacking so whatever so we know about the world or about the universe. So if we want to know how much possible to know about the universe or society, about the human body, medical technology, so every field, if we want to know, then we have to make some skilled persons so that they can do everything in reasoning way, in logical way, and within the given time period. So for that thing, all activities in a society, a nation, and the world should be centered and individual. So for that, an individual is the nucleus or core. So who is to be taught? So with onset of 21st century, entire era changes rapidly, or its transformation has been rapidly. Recently, like COVID-19, so we are trying to cope up with that. And on the other hand, naturally, for such times, a different skill set as required that would enable an individual to cope up with to cope up with and to succeed in facing the challenges is the real life. So who are facing challenges and they are coping up with the situations, so we can call them a real person, a real hero. So in 21st century skill, so we can call 21st century or learning skills or transversal competencies. So we can give that century, or we can see that century in different ways. So transversal competencies. So that means we have to go with skills. So without skills in today's world, we cannot go, or learning skills. So that is the age of learning. If a person doesn't learn something, then that person cannot go along like that only. So if I want to make a person make a person's development in holistic way, then I needed to contribute to the progress and development of the society and the world. So for that case, we have to empower students or like any kid, whether that has to be a student, it doesn't mean that, but if we make a child a nice person, then we have to empower any child with these skills. So whatever the skills are, later I'm going to talk about. So skills with challenges tasks. 21st is like even so CBSE has provided some norms to for the children, for the school children or children, so they has to go through these challenges, and that way they can develop themselves by having these challenges or by learning these skills. So and okay, so collective collaborative towards attaining the 21st century skills in each learner. So we have to teach or learn collaboratively with the students. So suppose, so when we were reading in schools, so primary level, so at that time we would learn, or we had learned 1 2 3 all these things, even we got our grades. So someone got high grades and someone like low grades, low achiever, higher achievers, middle achievers, etc. But if that achievers, like three of them come in real world and they behave like low achievers, if a low achievers works in the real world or in the society in proper way, in proper behavior, then we have to understand that that person is having real skills to cope up with the situations, and that person will, or that individual can survive in that struggling world with these skills. So we have to be a practical persons with the skills and more practical knowledge. We have to have more practical knowledge. We have to have the human, okay, we have to have a great human, and we have to we have to be prosperous so that we can create a nice situation. Okay, let's know about meaning of 21st century skills. So the term 21st century skills refers to a broad set of knowledge. So broad set of knowledge. So let's see, like skills, as I have mentioned it earlier. So what are the skills like? So we have to see someone's work habits and some characteristics or traits that are believed by educator. So that are believed by educator, school reformers, college professors, employers, and others to be critically improved to success. So in that situation, so these are the people who are thinking that whatever the skills an individual is needed, so they are giving these skills or giving this information or sharing these informations with an individual, with that individual. So in simple terms, so 21st century skills refers to the skills that are required to enable an individual to face the challenges of 21st school or 21st century world that is globally active. So a person has to be a globally active, digitally transformative, and collaborative, involving and collectively progressive, seeking competent human resource and quick in adapting changes. So if like what I said little bit earlier, so a person has to change himself rapidly so that he can be adjusted with the society. Like here you can see on the screen. So the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those, so those okay who cannot read or write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn and relearn. So that means if like illiterate of the 21st century will not be those, so they will not be illiterate persons only who will suffer through, but learned persons also can suffer, who cannot relearn something. Suppose one person has learned today or something and he is now unable to learn something else. So that means, like I said earlier, so whatever is going on today, it might not go on tomorrow. So that person must have a reflexive thought so that he can relearn something. Okay, if we see the literature of the, okay, so literature of review, so like since beginning of life on earth, so human being gone through many phases, and whoever are so whoever are survived, so they are only the fittest who are today also. Like the importance of life, so today someone has to be skillful to survive or to cope up with the time. And now I would like to share my views regarding some peoples who said something or who published many books, like Delors report. So even here you can see on the screen, so a person, so today that person, whenever that person is 32, he will be changing his or her jobs, because 9 times, like, so it's said by World Survey, because the way the world is rapidly changing itself. Okay, let's talk about Delors report, which was published in 1996. Okay, so Delors report, like there what I found, the International Commission. So one produced by International Commission on Education for the 21st Century. So nowadays, so as we are changing ourselves, rapidly, so that's why we have decided to make one framework, so to make up one framework, so that with that okay, let's start. So Delors report produced by the International Commission on Education for the 21st Century proposed one of the first frameworks to identify. So proposed for the first time to identify, so that means skills. What are the skills needed in like any institutions or in any organizations? So today we want to go mathematically. So whatever is beneficial for us, only that only we will do and nothing else. We will go mathematically with reasons. So within that frameworks, we have to identify competencies needed in the coming century. The Delors report also formulated 4 principles. So according to the dealers reports, so that person has formulated some some competencies, so which are called four pillars. For example, for the purpose of education, like learning to know. So one number point is learning to know, number two, learning to do, number three, learning to be, and number four, learning to live together. So these are the gist of Delors report, published in 1996. So later we will discuss about these four pillars: learning to know, learning to do, learning to be, and learning to live together. So, and after that, uh, I would like to read Wagner's report, was published in 2010, and the change leadership group. So it was published from Harvard University. So Harvard University wanted to identify another another set of competencies and skills, like informed by several hundred interviewers. So from there, they just they wanted to have some interviews, so that we can, or from there, whoever are just going out from that university, so they can cope up with the real world. So that's why that kind of interviews or that kind of program was arranged. Even these were taken for like business, for the business or non-profit and education leader. Wagner stressed that students need students need 7 survival skills to be prepared for 21st century life, works, and citizenship. So these seven things are seven survival things are: one, critical thinking and problem solving. Number two, collaboration and leadership, agility and adaptability, in initiative and entrepreneurship. Number five, effective oral and written communication. Number six, accessing and analyzing information. So seven, curiosity and imagination. So I'm just reading, so I will just describe them a little bit later. Okay, let's finish first that another publication they also published, and I thought it is very important, as we are from Asian continent. So that publication is named the Asia Pacific Economic Corporation, APEC, we can say that. Okay, so from that publication has identified the development of 21st century competency among the youth. So they want to instill these skills, or they need these skills with the persons, then only that person is complete. So youth as a pressing international concern. These competencies are defined as: first one is like knowledge, skills, and attitudes to be competent in the 21st century workforce. So a person must have knowledge regarding the subject which that person is going to do, and the skills about the subject and attitude. So we have to have these things to be competent, and then only that person can participate appropriately in an increasingly diverse society. So use new technology and cope with rapidly changing workforce. So another one is partnership for 21st century skills. A coalition of business leaders and educators. So now participants, like educators, leaders, they are making some framework for the young ones. So from the beginning, they want to make these young learners involved in their framework so that in future that person can be a skillful persons and turn to be a productive prosperous person. Okay, like this included to be all this, so they have to have some 4 C's. What are these 4 C's? Let's know that. Okay, number 1, communication. Number 2, collaboration. Number 3, critical thinking and creativity. So these are the 4 things we have to have. Suppose if I like communication, so I know some kind of I know some kind of language. So in my mother language, I'm totally efficient. I have proficiency, but I don't know a language by which I can communicate with the other people. So whatever knowledge I have, so that might turn out to be non-fruitful. So that's why we have to have communication skills. It's not only the language. In total, I would say like the body language and other criterias too. So by which we like I'm brought up in a society in my traditions. So if I go somewhere else over there, I might not get the same tradition, same culture, same society. So I have to have some changes in me so that I can involve myself or I can just go with that flow. So that way also we can communicate with the other society, with the other tradition, with other culture. And the second one I said in forces like collaboration. So like collaboration, a person, whatever that person, like that person might have great knowledge regarding any subject, but if that person is not able to work with other people, with other people or with many or plenty of people, so then that person would turn out to be non-productive, to be a non-productive person. So we have to have that skill too, so that we can work with in collaborative way. Then only so our skill will be fruitful or productive. And number 3C, okay, 3C, critical thinking. So in our day-to-day life, we do our jobs, we eat, we roam. So over there, we don't find any complex thing to think. But whenever we are going to do some kind of complex job which we don't know, and we are just trying to find out the answer. Exactly in the same way, if a children who is just 10 years or 15 years old, he might not have some information regarding the society or some kind of imaginative power. So we have to instill in that mind some kind of imaginative power so that that mind can think independently regarding the society, regarding the education, regarding like anything. So if that person is taught to think independently, then that young ones will turn out to be in future are great persons or great leaders. So if that young mind would have that creative thinking, then he would be very skillful and he would be fruitful in future. And the creativity, and the last C is creativity. So we have to think in creative way, in constructive way. So whatever we are having is okay, but what about something else? So we have to think in different way so that we can create something new. So there was a world when we did not know so about how to use power. So later we learned how to use power, like we converted any kind of energy. Even today, sun energy we are converting into power and using as electric. So that is some kind of creative thinking. So we have to teach a young mind, we have to teach a young mind to think in creative way, and we have to make sure, or we have to give opportunity to that young mind so that that mind think independently in different way, so which are to be taught within the context of core subject areas and 21st century themes. This framework based on assertions that 21st century challenges with demand a broad skill. So it demands a broad skill set, emphasizing core subject skills. Social and cross culture skills. So we have to have social and cross culture skill so that we can just mix up with any situation or any society or with any time, like I said, any culture, society, traditions. So all these skills we have to have. So even that, if we are having that kind of narrow mind that we cannot cope up or we cannot mix with other traditions, so it would be non-productive and it will just push us back. So it will affect our society or even to our skills. And after that, I would like to share some information published by UNESCO working paper, like revisited and divided all above research skills into learning to know, learning to do, learning to live. So we have just we have learned that learning to know, learning to do, and learning to live. So components of 21st centuries, components of 21st centuries, like okay, century skills, 3 Ls, 4 Cs, 4 Cs, IMT, and FLIPS, etc. So we will know, so what is like 3 Ls, 4 Cs, like little bit earlier. So I have discussed 4 Cs, but I skipped 3 Ls. So now I would like to share, and IMT, flips, etc. So like 3 Ls, learning skills, okay, learning skills, life skills, and learning is literacy skills. So first let's talk about, or let's discuss about learning skills. So skills required for the acquisition of new knowledge. So whatever we know, and we know that one. So whenever we are having some other information, or having other information regarding anything, so then only my learning process is done. If I'm just reading something and I'm not learning anything, then my learning process is not done. So one person must have that skills with him, that is learning skills. And literacy skills, like skills that help in creating and gaining new knowledge through reading, reading, media, and digital resource. So we can learn something by these means, like reading, media, and digital resource. And after that is life skills. So life skill is some kind of survival